Greetings, it's Melanin Mogul. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my Uptown Radio interview. We'll be discussing relationships and how I found my purpose.
Talk about it later. So thank you for coming on to the show, Monet. And state your business one more time.
Meals by Monet.
Meals by Monet. So you are a chef.
Yes.
Okay. So kind of tell us what is your cuisine? What kind of food do you serve?
Well, I serve everything. My cuisine, my specialty is typically seafood. So, and a lot of healthy things per se. So I do specialty diets. Unfortunately, if you came and you say you have high blood pressure or low iron, anything of that nature, I customize a diet for you.
Okay.
So that's really what I specialize in. But as far as in the kitchen, I can make just about almost anything. Vegan soul food, traditional soul food. I like to make a lot of Asian cuisines, Mexican dishes. I like to use fresh ingredients primarily.
Okay.
And so the diet is built on a lifestyle of eating fresh things. Yes. And it's kind of transitioning into, it's not just about what's in the kitchen. I grew up in an environment where we sat at the dinner table. And as I ventured into the world, I have been picked on, and there has been a thing about you always sit at the table. Well, when I was growing up, you sat at the table, you didn't have phones at the table, you had a discussion about your day, your goals, your future, whatever you had going on. And so I think dinner time, family meals, people will be on social media and see their children, and the child is a whole different person. They don't know their children anymore. So I think that it's important to bring back family meals. And so Meals by Monet I've been in business for 5 years as a chef and caterer. Thank you. My anniversary was this past May. And so it's transitioned into motivation, exercise, accountability, lifestyle, sanctuary. So I've changed Meals into an acronym for that. And primarily because during the pandemic, I realized that a lot of people don't know how to eat proper. You don't have the food groups. The way people would order family meals for their children, I'm like, well, you don't have, so you want macaroni and french fries?
2 starches?
Yes. And that would be the meal. It's like, well, you don't want, we have asparagus.
Chicken. Yeah.
We have, so we have other things. So I felt there was a need for educating.
Okay.
There was a huge need for educating, and a lot of people were interested in exercise and fitness. A lot of women want a specific body type.
Yes.
And so when I'm meeting these clients and I'm having conversation with them, the root of it is, well, why do you want this body type? Oh, well, because someone, they want to look like these people. And so it goes back into that instant gratification and the attention. And black women do have very beautiful bodies. But as we know, the Europeans, they sexualize us. Yeah. And so we are exotic, and we have these full lips, and we have these features, but they like our features. They don't do our struggle. Sure. And so when it comes down to black women being empowered, you can get a compliment on your body and be empowered, but I want you to feel empowered outside of that. Yeah. And so when you spoke about earlier harassment, things of that nature, I was in the store and a woman complimented, well, actually the guy first, because in the like corner store you have the line for lotto, and then you have the line where you buy things. Sure. And the guy was saying, oh, you're thick, making comments about my body. Okay. And I ignored him because I don't solicit that type of interaction. And the woman got offended and was like, you're stuck up, you're funny acting. He was saying you're thick and you didn't say anything to him. No. I didn't. I don't think that's appropriate to approach me. Right. And she was just flabbergasted. What? Oh, if I look that way? And so us women now are glamorizing sexual harassment. After this Me Too movement, there's a split. Yeah. Some women, and then you have the conversation about whether they're being cheated on or messed with. But there's a song D2 Bomb, so you can't lead a. So what you're saying is, I'm willing to endure all of this emotional abuse for good sex, or if they're buying me things, or if they're spending money on me. So the idea of, I want this video vixen body type, you get all of this crazy baggage that comes with it, and all of this it's like you want to trade your body or your sexuality for these things. And so what I'm looking at is, why do you can get in shape. Yeah. We can go roller skating with our kids, we can exercise, we put the exercise implement into it, but why do you want, in order for you to have a high self-esteem, it's not founded on men saying you're sexually attractive. Right. You're minimizing yourself. So I want us women to have nice shapes and bodies. And I want to and we can look like this, but what are we going to do with it once we look like this?
So what percentage is it that you are, and I ask this question because it might be some of the men that want to know, but I personally want to know. Because Megan Thee Stallion was brought to the front of the congregation because she went on to social media and said, I wear the clothes that I wear, I show off my body for me. And we was like, that's a little cap, because we feel like, and the reason being is because you know that's going to get you likes. When you post these bikini pictures and, you know what I'm saying, you're showing off your derriere and this, that, and the other, you know that's going to get the attention of, especially the man. You know what I'm saying? So if you was to be mostly clothed, and it showed the ratio, like when she was, you know, at galas and stuff like that, her likes weren't as much as when she was, you know, showing off her derriere and bikinis and stuff like that. But when she went online and said, I do this for me, I can give a damn about what a man says. Is that cap or is that...
I don't believe it's cap, because that's something that I struggle with as a woman who has had that body since I was 12 years old. Mm-hmm. So being young and being over-sexualized, I became ashamed. I didn't start wearing shorts in midriffs until I was about 27, 28 years old. Okay. So it was one of those things, I was insecure because I got that attention. And then you're made to feel ashamed. Well, you can't come to the party because so-and-so's boyfriend was looking at you. Well, you're not invited because now I'm over-sexualized because I'm getting this type of attention. Right. I'm intelligent. Mm-hmm. I'm very articulate, but you see a booty.
That's it.
And when I greet some of my associates or friends, feminine men, when I'm out in the clubs and they feel comfortable to grab on me and feel on me. I don't even know these men. Cool. But it's, hey girl, you got, you know, and I have a nice smile too. And so for a woman who has been over-sexualized until I got to the point where I felt like, I'm confident enough to, if I put this on and you say something about my body, I won't let it affect me. I know I'm more than a sexual object. Just because you're turned on by it, you know, and then I can put on a full-length dress. I can tell you that I go to church. I struggle with what I'm going to wear because of my body type. Because I know people are going to give me unwanted attention.
Got you.
So if I put this on and I'm confident, I'm in control of saying, I like this. I want to show off my midriff. That doesn't mean I want to sleep with you. Doesn't mean you gawk at me. Right. I work hard on my abs. I want to show off these abs. Right. Plus, it's a marketing tool for me because I sell fitness. Right. You know, so for Megan Thee Stallion to say she's doing it for her, I believe it in the sense of she's not a person who went out and purchased the body or enhanced the body. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if we're going to use rappers, Cardi B had surgery to be an entertainer. Mm-hmm. She was in the stripper world. Right. So she got the body exaggerated to make money off her body to be in the entertainment world. So this is not a woman that can say, well, I didn't do it but it was for entertainment. You have girls that live in a regular neighborhood, that live in a regular life, that invest in their body in that way because they think they're going to become a social media influencer. Yes. So they're chasing that same attention. Sometimes they'll roll their eyes or be upset that a woman is getting this sexualized attention, but sometimes they want that attention as well because they think it's going to help them.
So you have women come to you that either want to look like this or they just need help so that they can feel better about themselves, mind, body, and spirit. But when they have these unrealistic expectations, what is it that you relate to them?
Well, first of all, I need to know how you feel about you. So some people, it's not a self-esteem issue. It is just I want to fit my jeans different and better. And you can kind of always tell by the way they present themselves on social media. Mm-hmm. All women, just because you have a curvy body doesn't mean you have to necessarily show it off. That might be your prize, but you don't necessarily have to show it off.
Yeah, I'm big on that. I'm like that. People look at me like, oh, you have such a nice body. People pay for your body, and I'm like, I don't even like to show myself off. Like I pride myself on not posting, you know, naked pictures of myself or pictures that my sons may see in the future. Sure. And also I'm with you. Like I feel like women, we don't have to exploit ourselves in that way to get somewhere in life. Like women want their bodies done to chase after a bag, but you done spent money you don't have on a body that you're not really going to work hard to get that bag. You just think it's going to come to you. Yeah. So we, in this day and age, we're in like the age of robots.
Yeah.
And it's so robotic. Like, everybody's like, body, 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 body. I don't think Meg was capping when she said that she's doing it for herself, because I get that energy from her that she is doing it for herself.
Okay.
Like, she doesn't,
Yeah,
she's always had that body. And although I personally feel like Meg done had some stuff done, because I've seen her before she got big, and she was smaller in a lot of areas. But maybe she ate, worked out, and put it in the right place.
And when you have money, you can have trainers on deck.
Yeah.
You can have that dietitian that meal preps you and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're in a position, and that's what I'm saying, money is the ruler, you know what I'm saying, at this point. Because, you know, what about the woman who does have, you know, kids, and she has to take Timmy to volleyball practice or this, that, and the other, and she doesn't actually have time to actually meal prep for herself, work out, but she still comes to you and says, Monet, I need help.
That's what I teach. So that's where I come into play, because if you have a child, especially if you already have an active child, women can exercise with their children. We go roller skating. And so the thing is, you don't want to feel, if I go to the gym and I'm seeing this person next to me get results, I might get discouraged. Or paying for a gym membership. When I take my kids to family night at the skating rink, I'm spending time with my family, and I'm working on my weight loss goal.
Okay.
So I'm accomplishing two things. If you don't own a bicycle, you can go into thrift stores and purchase bicycles for $30 to $50. Sometimes less than that.
Right.
People give them away. You can rent bikes downtown. So there are ways to be active and fit, and I'm going to include my children or that elder. You have that elderly relative. Well, come on, Miss So-and-so, I'm going to push you in your wheelchair today. We're going to go for a walk and get fresh air. So there are always ways to pour into yourself and then help others in that aspect. It's not just about, because I have people who overeat.
Yes.
Well, what's going on with, well, I quit smoking, or I quit drinking, or I quit doing this thing, so now I'm eating all the time. I didn't used to be like this. I was smaller when I drank. Remember, we were going to the bar, but were you smaller because you were unhealthy?
Yeah.
Well, you know, were you smaller because you're unhealthy?
Because a lot of those things curb, like the cigarettes, they curb your appetite.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I'm saying?
what was causing you to do that? So were you going through something that you were stressed or overwhelmed, and you picked up that habit of drinking or smoking or vaping or whatever the case is? So now when you quit that habit, you replaced it with smoking. So what we're going to find out is we are going to do, and it's one of those things where I believe we're like trees. We're going to do the root work. We're going to get to the root of the problem. People in other realms call it shadow work or things of that nature. So how were you raised? How were you treated? How were you, as a child?
Sure.
What was your dinner like at home growing up? Because if my parents didn't cook for me, if they didn't put food groups with the meal, I don't know how to feed my kids proper. If I work a lot and I'm tired and it's convenient to go grab this or that, I can do that. But you can go to Kroger, Whole Foods, the grocery store. They have prepared meals.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Prepared meals. You don't have to go through that drive-through.
The decision a lot
choices.
is 4 for $4, or do I pay $12 for this healthy ass meal because the price of food is going up and everything?
That is a huge misconception.
Okay.
And so that's one thing I want to educate people about. First of all, we have the People's Market. We have the Free Store. We have Mid-Ohio Food Bank. We are farmers in Ohio.
Okay.
And Ohio is the only place I know where you can go and get free eggs, free potatoes, free onions consistently. They will always have those things. On the corner of Parsons and Whittier in Columbus. You can go through drive-through there. You can go to Mid-Ohio. And I had a partnership, so I was able to take free nutrition classes through them. And I worked with a nonprofit. Previously, I was with them for about 10 years. I did their food pantry program. So with Mid-Ohio, they gave me classes on sodium, classes on a bunch. So I became certified in nutrition through them. When I was giving out the food and I'm doing food giveaways, people weren't taking, for example, the squash and zucchini. Well, I don't know how to cook that. One lady brought the zucchini back and said, well, I thought this was a cucumber. I don't want these. I thought these were cucumbers. And I'm thinking, well, you eat hibachi, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you eat, so what we're going to do is
Squash
you're going to cut up
and
these
bean sprouts,
vegetables and you're going to saute them, and a bag of rice costs how much? So you can eat healthy, and then it's kind of like people want to go out to eat and eat certain things. You can prepare that at home for less than the cost. So there are ways to eat healthy and not spend a lot of money. And even if you don't need the resource of going to a food pantry or to get the fresh produce, because we grow so much stuff, we're literally giving it away in boxes. Like, it's literally been given out. And so you can start a garden at home. So there are just little steps to take to help. I want to teach children and adults. Last year, with my nonprofit, Rise and Soar, You Already Shine, we did a beautification project. Unfortunately, there have been a couple violent incidents where a young lady lost her life in a neighborhood. And so we decided to go and plant flowers there. And a few things I learned was that if you don't appreciate it, if you weren't taught to appreciate something, you won't respect it.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was a bittersweet thing, because unfortunately in some of the flower box, and we spent a lot of time doing this, and a couple of days later we had some kids digging in the flowers.
Sure.
Well, one little boy said he wanted to give them to his mom. And so he dug him up, took him, and gave him to his mom. So I couldn't be mad at the little boy wanting to give the flowers to his mom. Yeah. But it was one of those things where, we need to be planting vegetables. So this year, in July, because that's when we always do the big plant, we'll be planting vegetables. Okay. We already have like 6 boxes. And so when you go to Mills by Monet, if you go to millsmonetllc.com on the website, all the services are available, and then the links, because we'll be taking donations for the nonprofit. Rise and Soar, You Already Shine there's a social media presence on Facebook, so you can find us there. Right. And so what happens is we have to learn how to feed ourselves. Right. We have to learn how to garden. We can't rely on them to feed, educate, or protect us. Right. And I'll just touch on, I see a lot of people on social media, they should teach this, and this in school.
They should.
No. They didn't even want us to know Egypt was in Africa.
Right.
They didn't even want us to know Egypt was in Africa. So why are we relying on them to teach our children? These are our children. Why are we relying on the same people who don't want nobody touching their baby's hair when they go over to the aunt's house for the weekend, or the dad's girlfriend is not allowed to touch your kid's hair? Be that protective of your child's education and what's going in their head. Yeah.
But when we actually go to college, we are looking for things that are glamorous. So we'll go for business administration, we'll go for, medicine and law and things of that nature, but nobody goes for agriculture.
Right.
And OSU has a beautiful, agricultural program.
Nobody goes for science.
Yeah. And I think it's because we're not learning things that are sustainable. And when you go to school for all those degrees, like someone like me, you're in debt. You're paying off that education. So the idea that I'm going to make more money if I go to college and get a degree. Right. Guess what? You're not.
No.
Because
I make at my job. I make the same amount of money as people in there with degrees.
Because you're paying off that debt. Listen. You can go you can get into these different jobs and make the same amount. The difference is so and so is not bringing home what you bring home because she has debt. She is paying off her education that got her in that position. And what they took away was trade schools. So there was an error where there were plumbers and the HVAC people and the dental assistants, because I attended a school where I went to Fort Hays for a period of time. Yeah. And when some of my classmates graduated, they were dental assistants. Yeah. And they have been dental assistants since they were in school. And they still have this career. They never went to college. They don't have debt. And they live very comfortably.
Man. What's funny is that I started banking in around 97, late 90s. I didn't pursue my degree until 2009. I actually made more money before the degree.
And not to say it in a taunting way. And now you have that debt.
Now I have the debt.
And yes. And I don't want to discount education because I grew up in I know this name is taboo now, but I grew up in the Bill Cosby era where college was promoted on television to people of color. I grew up watching them go to Hillman College, and so it was promoted. People in my family graduated from college, and it was a thing where you have a sense of, I love to learn and I like to, but we should be able to learn things on our own. So you have to go back to the beginning. They didn't want us to read for a reason. Once you know how to read and comprehend, you are able to educate yourself. You have the ability to go into the library and learn anything you want to learn. And when we were going through the process of trade schools, people coming out of school in the 80s and 90s, you graduated, you had no debt. You have no ties to the government. You go buy a home. Yes. You can go. You don't have all of these things holding you down. Right. And so now, I'm pushing own your own business. Yes. You can, if you don't know a thing, you can do a trade. And I just saw someone recently who I follow, who I've interacted with in the business, was Yandy Smith. She's been on Love and Hip Hop, all those type of things. Well, she's promoting a company now. They sell scrubs wholesale. Wow. We live in Columbus, Ohio. So if you are someone who is in an entrepreneur mindset, we have OSU, we have all these people
home healthcare,
for home healthcare, college and nursing, Cleveland Clinic. you could be selling scrubs.
Yeah,
you could be selling scrubs. And this is what I do. So I'm going to meet you. I'm going to get to know you. And then I'm going to help you with accountability coaching.
Yeah.
Because whatever your natural raw talent is, I want to nurture that. Whatever your gift is, because I live in my purpose. So I went to culinary school.
Yes, you did.
I love it. And I appreciate it. But that's not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
What I'm supposed to be doing is speaking. What I'm supposed to be doing is motivating and uplifting people.
The reason why I say that is because Michelle came in here yesterday, and there was some things that were some accounts that we're losing, and she had told me the same thing. She said, well, this is what we were doing to get this little bit of money, but this is not what you're designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get away from this little shit that you think that you need, and you really start focusing on your purpose, then that's when, what I'm saying, things start happening for you. Because we just started, and I'm talking about for my DJ, I started losing a lot of DJ accounts. And so she was like, that's not, you run a radio station. This is what you do. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of close the door to that so we can move forward in that direction. So that was just perfect timing to what you were saying.
And I met these men. One guy's name is DL, the Master Barber.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard of this man, you could just Google him. He was a barber, but he's a motivational speaker. And he is actually an Emmy award winner.
Yeah.
He's on a show. He does a few things. We met in person, and I went to a barber convention, and there was another guy there. And when this man pulled me aside and said, you need to use your voice. I don't even know you. Why would you approach me? And so as I'm going through and I'm meeting these two men, and they're explaining to me, well, we just felt your presence. You should be speaking.
Yeah.
You should be speaking. You should be doing this. You should be living in your purpose. And that's exactly what he spoke about. And he gave a talk, and it was more so he uses his purpose to make profit. Mm-hmm. And so when you're living in your purpose, you're not going to lack anything. And I know that everyone doesn't subscribe to religion or
wait.
nature.
Say that again. When you're living in your purpose,
you're living in your purpose, you're not going to lack anything.
You're always abundant.
You are always abundant because you're doing what you're supposed to do. And
Always.
so I felt like I wrote a few books.
Yeah.
And at first I was doing classes. And so during the pandemic, I'm saying, get on Zoom. We can do personal wellness classes. Mm-hmm. We do anger management. We do grief. We do potty training. Everyone's giving their kids melatonin. And someone just mentioned to me that someone actually overdosed on that.
Quick bookmark. Michelle Coleman says, I don't leave it to anyone to teach my son. It starts at home first.
Yes. And there's a quote that says, a child only educated in school is an uneducated child. Ooh. Because what we're doing is the system is educating our children. And the school is just like the prison. Mm-hmm. Everything is systematic. Yep. And so if my children go to school every day and they have to fight to learn Black history, and they don't know that here in Columbus you have the Willis Beauty Supply, and they were the first Black people to have their own combs and brushes in production, and to own a company right here in Columbus. They own Long Street right behind East High School. Sure. Living history. You don't know that there's Black excellence walking around. Mm-hmm. You don't know that.
Repeat that history one more time.
Willis Beauty Supply. These people were the first to have their own production. So you know how you go into the hair, you saw Ace combs? Yeah. Then you start seeing their combs in the store. Willis Beauty Supply, they had their own production. They had hair products supply. They're still there. The salon is called the Tiffany's.
Yeah.
It's called the Tiffany's.
It's right there by East High School.
Yes. And the Willis, and they've been around for a very long time, and they're friends of the family. And so I could say, well, I've known people that were in Black business for a very long time who've owned things, and you've watched. So my child going to school in February, learning about Dr. King and Malcolm X every year.
Every year. You
have Tony Bell. My daughter met Tony. Come on, I'm going to take you to meet Tony. She makes sea moss. She has a business doing that. She's so fascinated by her. I can't believe you know this lady in real life. I have a friend that's a DJ. Whoa. My daughter knows her. I can't believe you know these people. I have Whitney Austin is one of my good friends. She's from Columbus. She has a gallery in Charlotte. Sure. First Black woman to own an art gallery. In Columbus. She's from here. She was painting. This is someone that inspired me because I watched her. We went to school together. She was in her social media saying, I'm tired of being in this call center job, or I'm tired of being at this job.
The one that moved to North Carolina.
Yeah. Whitney. Yeah. And for someone to sit and tell you, I'm just going to paint. That's her purpose. Yeah. And it's one of those things that, and I don't want to speak on people, but she's probably in the M Club. If she's not there, she's close to there. Absolutely. Very humble person, but this is her purpose. Yeah. And and when you see these things, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
You know, and so to know people close to you that said, well, I'm going to follow my purpose, it pushes you further. And I just say that majority of my friends and associates, they all own a business or they are doing their own thing within their own right. And it's not I'm not against systematic work. Because I know there are counselors, there are teachers, there might be a janitor in the school, but his conversation he has with those children have an impact. So just because you work somewhere doesn't mean that's the work you're doing.
Man.
You know, you work there. You know, I know that the library security guard, when I was growing up, that was one of my inspirations, and having a conversation with the library security guard.
Yeah.
You know, because he taught me PPP, poor preparation, poor performance.
Yeah.
I learned that from the library security guard. Security guard.
Yeah.
You know, because whatever, I was not on time for things at times. And we would have meetings there. I was a part of a bunch of clubs.
Right.
He pulled me aside and said this to me, because he observed everything.
Yeah.
That man worked security.
We'll give you the 6 P's. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. That is something that is used by the Kappas a lot. So if you know a Kappa, they'll quote the 6 P's for you. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. So I had to discuss that.
And it's like, so when you come across people, you can't judge these people when you encounter them. They might have a message for you. They might have something for you.
Sure.
You know, and so throughout my transition from, yes, I'm still a chef. Yes, you can still book me. I still do all of those things. But the conversations that I'm having with people, sitting down, speaking with them about their life. What is your plan? What is your purpose? What is your path you're on? So that's when it comes down to accountability coaching.
Sure.
Because if you want to lose weight because you're overeating, but really you're overeating because you're stressed about this relationship you got going on. So if we don't get to the root of it,
and I'm emotional eater.
And why are you in that relationship? Because you're used to that treatment
eater.
because of the way you were raised. So you got to do the shadow work.
Ooh.
What I was raised and what I was accustomed to growing up sets the tone for how I interact with others.
Okay.
Sets the tone for how I show up in the world.
Nice.
And so once you become an adult, you start learning, I went through this, I went through that, I reacted this or that way. Now you have to take accountability. I can't blame my parents. I can't blame my upbringing because now I'm made aware of it. So now it's time to do that work. So I don't want to look good on the outside if I don't feel good on the inside. Because there are times where I've met people, they look gorgeous. They look amazing, but they are not mentally there because the love that you give yourself. And even back to that checking in with the partner question from earlier, I've dealt with people that were spoiled. I was spoiled. My parents gave me so much attention and so much love that I believe you don't like me if you don't give me the level of attention and love that my parents gave me. Because I'm accustomed to it.
Right.
So what do you mean you don't do this? You don't open the door for me?
Yeah.
You don't bring me a cool drink to the porch on a hot day?
Sure.
This is what I'm accustomed to.
That's what that's her right there.
So,
and that person has a right to adhere to that or
right.
not. Right.
But if we got to know each other better. So what we're doing is instant gratification. I posted this picture. I didn't get enough likes.
But you know what? Before I stop you, I just stopped you. Sorry. There are people that say, yeah, I'm accustomed to this, but I give as well.
Oh,
so I'm going to ask this of you, but I know that what I bring to the table, and I don't mind those people because the people who have a high standard for themselves also give equally as much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to those people.
Exactly. Don't announce it.
Yeah.
And we can break that down into a conversation I had with a previous relationship. And what the person explained to me was, well, you do these things for me. You're nurturing, you're loving, you're giving. You teach me things I didn't even know I need to know. But that's just my personality. That's just who I am. So by me already being what you need, just by being myself, when I meet you, if you are not accustomed to that type of love, if you don't love yourself enough to give love, you're only going to take it. Yeah. You're only going to, I'm pouring into you. Yeah. You can't reciprocate. You're going to
drain that person.
Exactly. And you're like, and I met a person who, they had went through a divorce, and so when we met, they hadn't been validated in that relationship, and they continued to talk about, I want someone to love me. I just want to be loved. And it was like, well, what are you? Okay, so we'll see how this goes. And then it was after just a few interactions, I love you so much, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, do you, or you've never been treated well?
Right.
But so I'm just treating you well, and you love me so much because you've never been treated well.
Oh my God!
So really, you're getting treated the way I treat my platonic friends.
Whoa!
I will treat my platonic friends just as well. I'm going to take my platonic friend lunch to work. I'm going to check on my platonic friend's big interviewer situation. So the love and affection I'm giving you as a partner, that's just me. But you've never been loved properly. So now you're in love with just being treated regular.
Whoa.
And so now it's one of those things where I'm not ready to love you yet. You haven't even seen my full capacity of love.
Dope.
You're just seeing that I'm kind and that I'm a resource for so many things.
Right.
And so oftentimes now these people get mesmerized by women who come in with all, and you don't say, well, I have this and this. You just simply, oh, they were hungry, you didn't send the lunch to the job. Right. Or, you didn't cash out the gas money or the store. And it's not always, it could be acts of service. I shoveled this person's snow. I cleaned the snow off their car. They came out and saw it done. But unfortunately, at times we drift into this expectation and appreciation. So you might appreciate it at first. And I've done this too. I've been ungrateful at times, I will admit. I'm appreciating everything you're doing. Right. And when you stop, why did you stop? Well, what's going on? Now I've transitioned from being appreciative to now I'm expecting this of you. I'm spoiled now. Right. I'm expecting it. And when you don't do it, I might not have a good reaction.
Somebody
I might
just told me the other day, Tony, you spoil people. And I was like, you know what? I do. And so then when they had, you are so right. Like, I'm a healer and I'm a giver. I'm not a taker. And I do that from jump. That's just me. So then when the roles turn and I don't do it as much, or it's like, well, what's wrong? Why are you acting this way now? Or why are you not doing this?
And the level of reciprocation was what, though?
I'm not going to speak
so,
that.
And can I just say, people, and I'm only saying this because we do know each other personally. Right. So I will say that we are very similar in those ways. Yeah. And people like us, you're generous, you're loving, you're giving, you don't need reciprocation. You don't want reciprocation. Mm-hmm. You don't think about it because that's not why you're doing it. But at some point, if I'm pouring and pouring and pouring, now I've run empty. No one has poured back into me. Right. And you're disappointed in me because I didn't give you or spoil you or do what you're accustomed to because I'm the one that got you accustomed to it. Why am I, the giver, not easily reciprocated?
Now, I will say this. Everybody know I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled. I am. But the thing is because I have not received this kind of love yet, I always want to give back. Like, because I'm not used to getting treated this way. So I'm like, okay, what can I do for you? And you always do it for me. What can I do for you? And she's like, love me correctly. That's her answer all the time. Like, I can do for myself. Just love me correctly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a simple thing to do because I have to learn you. Yeah. I have to learn your moods, your temperaments, and things of that nature. I have to know when to be like, all right, let her be her. You know what I'm saying? But she knows that my love language is acts of service. I mean, but she's already a person who does that. So I was already hook, line, and sinker. Like, boom, let me make his life easier. Everything from beginning, it was like, let me do whatever I need to do to make his life easier. So like you said, I automatically fell in love because I'm like, well, shit, these modern women don't do shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
When you get that type of woman, that is, and we spoke on that. It goes back to saying women are now savages, but I think that women have been underappreciated for so long. It's just, and there are still women like us who we're givers. I don't place materialistic value on relationships. Yeah. I don't care if you buy me $1 million worth of stuff. It's about the emotional connection for me and the energy. And we are rare, so we get people who come into these relationships with us. Right. And I am one that I've been through several relationships because they get that initial me and they don't know how to give back. And so I get depleted, and now there's resentment, and now I no longer want to be in this relationship because I've been telling you and showing you how to treat me, but you just want to take, and not give. So then it's like, I look like I'm in a million relationships, but in all actuality, I'm just this particular type of woman that really don't exist anymore.
Right.
And people don't know how to handle that.
Right.
And it's crazy.
And what she was saying to her point was, my woman will, like I said, share somebody. She's a beautician. She'll share somebody else's stuff. She'll do for somebody.
Yeah.
She's always doing for people. So I'm looking at it as I'm special. She's like, no, this is the type of person I am.
Yeah.
But now I will go above and beyond for you because you are my man. But I do this for a lot of people. So you got to kind of understand. I got it. When you said it, I was like, oh, that's me she's talking about. Because when I first got into it, I'm like, oh, my God, ain't nobody ever did this. Now, one thing she also said was, it doesn't always have to be tit for tat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to.
I want to.
And I'm not doing it to receive anything back. So chill.
Because people always expect, like, you give me something.
And it's her nature. And
Right.
the other thing is, one, you have to be, and this is coming into it with people, you have to be comfortable with being deserving of being treated well.
Right.
So if you get with this woman and you know you're a deserving person, but when you get with her, it's like, oh, wow, she's doing, you feel special. You should feel special and show love, but also know that you do deserve it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you want to, it's special and it feels good, but don't ever feel like you got to run out, and you do want to reciprocate.
Absolutely.
You want to reciprocate, you want this person to feel loved and want it back, but accept your compliments and accept your flowers. Just because and don't be tit for tat where it's like, she did this for me, now I got to go do. Don't make yourself anxious or put pressure on yourself, because here's the thing. Learning to love this person properly, although it may take a little bit of work, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because by nature, she is already what you needed.
Yeah.
And not to say, no, she didn't have to go out of her way to be what you needed. And so oftentimes people don't look at the relationship dynamic at, they are already bringing what they have to offer. You don't have to ask what they bring to the table. I think that's a little bit of a belittling question. But it's like, because you don't have to ask that. So now you're in it with this person. They treat you well. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, this is their character. So this is a person who's an entrepreneur that's not afraid to share other people's stuff.
Right.
And you have to pay attention to that, because if I'm in a relationship with you and I notice that your friend is doing this and you're not really supportive of your friend, how are you going to treat me when I'm doing my business? How are you going to interact with me? So you want to pay attention, because people are who they are. They are not themselves circumstantially. This is how they are. So that's how she moves. She's generous, she's loving, she's like that with everyone. You felt very special because you are special. So maybe it could have just been that the people you dealt with previously didn't have the capacity to love the way that person loves. Nothing was wrong with you. But the person, and so when I come across these people, you know, the bruised fruit is always a little bit sweeter.
I say broken people.
My bruised fruit is always a little sweeter. So when I come across this woman who's been mistreated or abused or etc., now she done met this new person and they're nice and he must be up to something because he's doing this and this. You have to know that you deserve it. You have to be healed enough to accept it and know you deserve it. Because if you're coming from an unhealed place, now you're suspicious. You know?
A
lot of all the good treatment.
A lot of people do not know. A lot of people do not know their worth, and I don't know how many times I've been questioned on, well, why do you do that? Why do you do nice things? Why do you do this? What? Why do I take care of you as my partner? Why do I send you like random gas money or buy you food or buy you gifts? Because my love language is giving. I'm a gifter.
Sure.
So I like the fact that you have to question why I'm giving, and that we always talk about the root of things, brokenness.
But I came from and I was one of those people. I came from an unhealed place. I was suspicious of it. Like, yo, I'm if she's doing this, I must have to do that. And then she's like, no.
Yeah, and the number one thing that irritates me, and I'm gonna tell everybody this: stop doing it. Don't question why. But don't think because your partner is loving and giving that they just treat everyone the same way they treat you. That irritates me. I'll get in a relationship and my partner will ask me, well, you must have treated your past people like this too. You must treat everybody like this. If you treat everybody like this, why should I feel special? What?
And I want to touch on that. Another, and the flip side of that is,
y'all is preaching today.
When you are asking for something or stating, this is what I require, so what? So you were with so-and-so. Did they do that? Don't ask me about my previous standards. The price goes up every year. The standards change. We elevate every year. Listen. I am in a constant state of evolution. And this is what I teach people. Get in your rightful place. You're supposed to get in your rightful place. So when you are full of you and you're loving yourself in a positive way, when people approach you with things that don't align with your purpose, you're able to decline them and not feel guilty. When you're whole, you don't hold on to that connection. I can admit that I was in the situation wasn't best. The person, the way, the interaction, but they took care of stuff. Mm-hmm. We can have an argument. They'll talk crazy to me, and then an hour later, they send me something. But is it the only time I'm getting gifts is when you're apologizing?
Right. Yeah.
So you're in this cycle of maybe sometimes even a verbal or mental abuse, and then gifts. And then, that's what they're doing on social media. So sometimes you have to get off, and I'm talking to my mature people, and then you have the immature people who are following social media, and they're obsessed with it, and they're saying, well, so-and-so and them are doing this, so we should be doing this. Or it's acceptable to cheat or be abusive, but gift people publicly. And so you have to be in tune with you and decide what your standards are. So that's what the accountability coaching. I don't life coach. There is no model for your life. Ooh. Accountability coaching is you telling me this is my goal. Mm-hmm. I'm going to help you set a path to that goal, and then I'm going to hold you accountable along the way. You can't tell me your goal is, and weight loss is just the easiest thing. It's a common thing. Can't tell me your goal is weight loss, but then when we speak, you're snacking on something unhealthy. Or you're not putting the effort or energy into it. What are you doing to get yourself to that level? You want healthy relationships with people? If you think that all of your exes are the same, there's something that they're teaching you. There's something about you that these people are attracted to you. And it can be a positive trait. You can have a light around you that is loving, that is generous, that is giving. Right. So you can have this positive trait, and they might be troubled people, and they're attracted to that joy or that light that you have.
Now, elevation could be a situation as well, because Trinae said everybody don't get the same love. The right person will bring out the best in someone. Mm-hmm. But there was a video that Pretty and Petty had shared, and it was supposed to be funny, but she was saying that I hate when somebody from my past say, "Oh, I used to mess with her. And she was like, so that person is gone. You know what I'm saying? You can never mess with the person that I've elevated and become. Is that particularly true when it comes to like you said, exes and things of that nature? Yes. When there's elevation, you were with that person at that particular time in your life. So also what Tony says, when there's suspicion, like, oh, you gave that to everybody. No, you got a completely different.
That's them projecting
I am so
their unworthiness on you. Yeah, that's them projecting. Ooh. Because here's the thing: if I'm not a public figure. If I'm not Kanye buying all the girls Birkins, okay, if Kanye bought some girls some Birkins, it was public. True. So if I buy Tony one, Tony might not feel special. She knows what I did for these people. Right. But if I bought Tony, this thing that put labels on, because she don't care about no purse. Mm-hmm. So I buy her some equipment to the sea moss machine. I don't even know what that is. Sure. But I buy her that. She appreciates that. Tony is interested in this. So I bought her something that caters to her. So there is a difference between I got all my ex-girlfriends a Nike sports bra. Wow. Versus you like Kobe Bryant. I got you a purple and yellow one. Because it's catered to that's what you like. I took the time to get to know. So when you're insecure or you feel unworthy, you make excuses for why people are treating you good. Tony didn't buy that for me because she do that for everybody.
She do that.
And you're taking away from.
I done heard that
but what you're doing is, number one, you're taking away from her intent. Because if it's Christmas time and I bought all 4 of the boys a gift, does that mean anyone is less special? They all got a gift from me. They were all 4 special. Right. So even if I did it for everybody, it was still special. You're still special. So don't take away from what I'm doing for you just because you may think I'm doing it for other people. You deserve it.
Or you've done it for people in the past.
Right. Exactly. Because of your value. That don't project that onto me. You deserve to be treated well. You deserve gifts. You deserve a massage, a kiss on the forehead. Don't you deserve it?
Yeah.
So don't question it. Because you deserve it.
Man, y'all is preaching today.
So be be in love with yourself. And then I know there's a woman going around, and what she says is, if you can't treat me the way I treat me or better, I don't want to be with you. But here's the thing. You have people that prey on those. So if you see a person who doesn't really have a high self-esteem and they don't treat themselves very well, it's up to you. When you got with that person, you are in control. Are you going to uplift this person that you're with?
Yeah.
Or are you going to use that to your advantage to say, well, she, I'm the prize. She don't feel too good about herself. Now, she don't think highly of herself. So I can treat her any old way, and she'll pull on me to stay with her.
Yeah.
I literally sat and watched an associate of mine on social media cry and beg a person to stay with them, but then they listed all the things the person does to mistreat them. You do this, this, and this to me. You treat me so this way. You keep trying to leave me. And I come to the conclusion, when someone doesn't like you, they will continue to mistreat you until you force them out of your life.
Yeah, that's how you know somebody don't like you.
Yeah.
That's how you know somebody don't like you. Forget they ain't text you in 24 hours. If they continue to mistreat you and do the same thing over and over every day, and you feel like you're begging this person at this point to stop treating you this way, they don't like you.
They don't.
It's like Book of Deuteronomy said. He said, you know when you should leave? When you feel like boo-boo every day. When you feel like boo-boo every single day, you should leave.
But here's the thing, and when you talk about those people who are the resource in a relationship, I am not going to love you the way you needed to be loved, because I don't have the capacity to, but I benefit from the love you give. So I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Because you love me. And it feels good to be loved by you. I can't love you back. I can't love you properly. But it feels good to be loved by you. So I'm going to stay on over here. And I'm going to keep picking at and taking away from you. Because guess what? Nobody is replenishing.
That's that narcissistic bull.
Yeah, it is. And once you get from that appreciation to expectation, without reciprocation, you're in a chokehold.
Yeah.
You're being used.
Absolutely.
Without reciprocation, and it's not about finances. A lot of it is emotional support. Oftentimes, this person will call you venting about their bad day and don't ask what you got going on, tell you good morning, but they want to pour. And this might not even be a romantic partner. This could be your cousin, your best friend. Be careful of the energy. I want to lead with, when you wake up in the morning, do not get on that social media or that phone. When you wake up in the morning, whatever you do, you pray, you meditate, you show gratitude, whatever you come up with a routine. Set your intentions for the day and allow your intentions to be your sole focus on you. Because what happens is, if I already had plans and my intentions weren't set, first thing I'm on social media, somebody said or did something I don't like, now I'm affected by it. My whole plan might change because I saw my ex is in town. I want to go over to mutual friend's house to get that attention when I'm supposed to be doing something productive for me. Set your intentions for the day. Be careful about the people who interact with you and what they're bringing to the table. Are they distracted? Are they uplifting? How is your energy after you interact with that person?
Right.
Do they bring anything to your table? And I'll say this, and it's already copywritten. Be careful about paper napkins at your table. What are they bringing to the table? But are they a paper napkin? Because what are paper napkins? They're everywhere. They're at everybody's table. And what are they? Very disposable. They serve their purpose and they're disposable. So be careful about these paper napkins at your table.
She need to come on Thursday with Dr. Jesse.
You gotta come back.
Because what's happening is when people are attracted to you, it's something that you have. And they see that in you and they want to get close to that.
I call it moth
Tony,
to a
light.
Yeah. But sometimes people will downplay you and what you have to offer just to keep you where you are.
Yeah.
If they don't want you to know how great you are, because once you know how great you are, you might stop tolerating what they have to offer. So when we're in tune with ourselves, you come to the sanctuary. Sanctuary is a place of healing. It's a place of restitution. So when you come to the sanctuary, you're learning you all over again, essentially.
Definitely. You have heard, is it Meals by Monet?
Yes.
Meals by Monet. We're going to see if Tony can bridge this, because Dr. Jesse, he'll listen to Tony. If we can bring you back on Thursday, if you have the availability, because you had so many jewels to drop that, we just did not have enough time. Time just flew by today.
Yes,
but thank you so much for coming. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on your socials. My Facebook is Melanin Mogul. I'm on Instagram as message.from.mo. And all of my branding is Meals by Monet. So there's Meals by Monet, the social media, the Facebook, and then the website. So you can go there for your exercise, spirituality, and fitness needs.
Absolutely. We will be back on. Will you be here Thursday? No,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tony Bell will be back here Thursday with Redefine with Dr. Jesse. These people's respective shows. So today you have heard Better Business Tuesdays. Thursday is Redefined, but it just is encompassed by the Uptown Show. We thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all of your feedback. And please have a great day. It looks like it's going to be a good day out there, so please enjoy the day. Seize the day. God loves you and we do too. We out of here. Peace. Good show. Yeah, she been dropping that shit. My goodness. I'm sorry.
These are the type of women I like to hang around. Okay.
So y'all knew each other?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's dope. That is dope.
Yes.
So much insight.
She sent me messages and don't even know what I'm going through, and I need it that day. When I say it.
I hope you enjoyed the show. You can download the State of Hip Hop app so you can keep in touch with the Uptown Radio Show. I have Tony and Delaine's socials linked below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Melanin Mogul is on all platforms.